The honey badger is returning to Seattle, and the Kraken are letting it all slip away. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show, where we love Seattle pro sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we're going to go around Seattle. We haven't done one of these episodes in a while, but the news has kind of finally slowed down across most of the teams. So we're going to cover most of the teams in today's episode and just give a little update about where most of the teams stand. We're not going to do the Seahawks because they're in the middle of the combine. I'm doing those mini mock drafts, so we got lots of news coming about them. But some of the other teams, this news has slowed down, so we can kind of cover everything quickly in a single episode today and catch you up on where everybody is. The first thing that we got to mention, and this is a feel-good story, so it's a good way to start out the show, is Alonso, the honey badger, signing a one-day contract with the Sounders. Will return on Thursday to retire as a Seattle Sounder. Just, legendary player for the Sounders, legendary career in general. What can you say? Signed all the way back in 2008. Become a starter in the defensive midfield right away. You always had to love his aggressiveness that he had playing defense. The fact that he was actually a threat to score as well. It's amazing. His career totals: 451 appearances, 30 goals, and 33 assists. For the Sounders, he played in 338, where he had 338 appearances, 20 goals, and 28 assists. Again, this is your defensive midfielder, so just amazing to see him put up, those kind of numbers, and as we said, be an actual threat on the offense as a defensive player. Again, just glad to see him, get a chance to be celebrated here in Seattle, where he did a lot of good things. All right, here's what he did with the Sounders. Won the U.S. Open Cup 2009, 2010, 2011, 2014. The MLS Supporters Shield in 2014. The MLS Cup in 2016. Made the MLSL All-Stars 2011, 2012, 13, and 14. Was named MLS Best 11 in 2012. Again, legendary career. Glad he's making the return to be able to retire as a Sounder, as he should. So, there you go. There's that. There's a little bit of Sounders news. Again, that's some feel-good news. Now we're going to get to some not so feel-good news. The Seattle Kraken and how they are watching the playoffs just slip away from them. I'm looking at the standings right now. We have 61 points. Nashville and Los Angeles are tied for the wild card spot now with 68, so we're 7 points back. It's not impossible, but it's not likely at this point. And especially with the way they're playing. You know, they are so up and down. Again, this really just reminds me of the Mariners season last season. Yeah, they can have a night or two where they put everything together and they look like a great team, and then they just go on a run of games where uh, they look horrible. Quite frankly, just not like, oh darn they lost. Like, oh, this team looks horrible at times, which is very concerning considering, it seems like they had a, the front office had a plan on how to build this team, and they just made the playoffs last year. So to be taking what looks like a step back like this is not a good look. Trade deadline is coming up in a week. We're definitely not buyers. I mean, I can't see them going out and trading for pieces to make a playoff push, because that just doesn't look likely. And I'm hoping they're not sellers. I feel like if they are sellers, again, I'm not a hockey expert, but if they sell, then what does that mean for next year's roster and what they're looking at, building the team overall? I just, if anybody's going to be sold, right? I mean, you're going to be looking at prospects and, the little scoring that we have, and you don't want to get rid of any of that, because the prospects we have are going to be the people who can potentially score later on, right? That the type of players that we don't have on the team right now, and you definitely don't want to get rid of any of the power you do have, because you don't want to just like completely throw away the rest of the season. I guess maybe the players get it together and have a chance, but I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't. Again, when I watch, I just don't see the aggressiveness. I don't see movement. Like, I just see a lot of people standing around, and I'm like, okay, who's creating the for their teammates to get a good shot? It's a little bit too simple for me. And again, I'm no hockey expert at all. I'm just watching, and that should tell you something, though. As somebody who's only been watching hockey for a couple of years now with the Kraken, that's not good when I'm looking at it and say something doesn't look right. So that's the Kraken. Is there an outside shot? They still make the playoffs, sure, but like I said, I don't see it with this team right now. And those are our two main storylines. Like I said, I mean, not a lot of big news around the rest of the league, but we can quickly hit on some other things that are going on. The Seattle Reign signed Elena Coates, Kayla Davis, and Kiana Williams to training camp contracts. So some more players getting a chance to try out. And then Mariners, this is actually potentially big news, because this just came out actually before I was getting ready to record. I saw this news. So Matt Brash could possibly miss the season. That is going to be devastating if that is the case. I mean, we're really hoping to lean on those bullpen arms during the season, and if he is already going down before the season even starts, that's not going to be good. I mean, reports are that he had a sore arm, and that's why they shut him down. Scott Service has been really reluctant to say anything, but then we got this report from Ryan Divish, saying that quote unquote industry sources believe that Brash could miss an extensive amount of time, possibly the season. That's not good. I mean, it was already not a good sign when they said, "Oh, we're just shutting him down." He's a little banged up. He's got a sore arm, and then they said, "Oh, well, we have to wait a couple of days to see results." Well, to see results, that means that you had to get something tested. That something's not right, and now it's something like something could really be wrong, and Brash could be missing the season. And again, that was looking like our bullpen. We were going to have like this three-headed monster, and now to lose one of them before the season even starts, that's not good. You know, Julio he's also been sitting out of games, but they say that's more of he was just you know going hard in batting practice and had fatigue, so they just don't want to push him. So that doesn't sound like anything serious. But you know, again, with the Mariners just not wanting to have extend their budget, it just doesn't make me feel good as a fan. That, oh, well, if we're going to have a key player go down before the season, you know, it doesn't make me feel good that this team's actually going to do anything about it. Get out in front of it and do something ahead of time. I'm sure Jerry DiPoto can find a way to replace the arm. I mean, that's what Seattle does. They find pitching, but I just don't. How deep can you go? How far can Jerry be pushed to keep going out there and searching and finding unknown names and building these arms until that just runs out? You can't hit them on them all. So I really wish this ownership group would let them spend some money, go out, get a replacement, go out. It just from what we've seen in training campaign, it's looking like they did not get what they needed at third base. Go out and get a third baseman. Go out and get another outfielder. But it just doesn't seem like any of that's going to happen. I'm not saying the season's all doomed based off of those reports. I mean, there's plenty that's looking good. I mean, Mitch Garver's looking like, hey, yeah, he's the DH. Dominic Canzone's looking like, oh, he is about to take that next step forward. There's a lot of positives to be taken out. I'm just feeling still a little still a little hurt from last season. So I just don't feel myself getting as excited as I was before last season, because I just feel like, oh, okay, well, if a player does go down like this, if something does start to go wrong in the season, is the ownership even going to give the front office the resources they need to be able to take care of those things? And we will find out. And that is all I'm going to update you on today. The storm. I don't really have any other news for you there. The Seahawks, like I said, lots of news are going to be coming out this week about the combine. That we'll have episodes about that. I'm dropping those mini mock draft episodes. So, we'll be talking about them a lot. That's the sport I know the most and love the most. So we'll have lots to say about them. And I think the Mariners news is going to start picking up a lot here soon. Sounders, they have another game coming up on Saturday. I'll be here to recap that. So lots of stuff coming up where we'll hit each individual team. But I thought this would be a good episode to just quickly hit some small amount of news notes for each team, and we haven't done an episode like that in a while. So let me know what you think about what's going on around Seattle in general. Are you a Kraken fan? Let me know if you believe they can actually make the playoffs this year. Do they have what it takes to start climbing that board again and get themselves back into a wild card spot? Sounders fans, you know, how excited are you to get to see Ozzy Alonso sign as a Sounder? And Mariners fans, let me know, what do you think of this team so far, what we've seen in the couple of spring training games, and how are you feeling about that Matt Brash news? All right, well, this has been the Seattle Sports Show, so thanks so much for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with the sea of sound you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.